Hello everyone, this is Gorax. In today's video I will go over another Continental challenge boss, Chaos Shadows Poison, and this time around we're gonna use a lightning, especially Dauntless team here to do around 100 million damage. I'm going to use only one legendary hero. He has Inspiration 1 though, because that's what I have on my main account. I'm going to use a quite good combo, I would say. And that obviously upgrades here. If you have Sufa, you'll find this team doing way more damage than the one I am using. But let's go over the team strategy and the equipment and timings as well. So the main damage dealer is Farival. I managed to get a dupe of Farival recently, and if you watched my video about the artifact test, you'll know that the Great River Lamp is the best artifact for Farival, especially with this kind of equipment and setup. Horseshoe is not that far behind, which is quite good for an epic artifact, and I even used Rat Tamer, which is a Rook exclusive artifact on Farival previously. I'm going to use Emperor set because this set is just giving us so much damage because the bosses have so low stats that this is just so good. Also, it gives us a little bit of haste so we can do the rotation quite faster compared to any other set. The second main damage dealer is Shelter. Sadly, I don't have good artifacts and resources to use them on the lower tier artifacts, which, you know, could be Eyeball of the Giant or Ink in this case, with a preference on Eyeball of the Giant, as overall this artifact gives more damage to the team compared to the Ink, and also Eyeball of the Giant can be used elsewhere. But since I didn't level up any of these artifacts and I'm struggling with Essence of Creation, I went for Die Pipe Organ, basically improving the attack of my range heroes, which is quite good for this build, and I'll explain why later. I'm using Shelter with Emperor set. I've done the test with the Enlightenment set as well, and the Emperor set was just way better. Sadly, as you can see, my enlightenment is rather low, and maybe that's why, because I also don't have enlightenment Emperor chest. So that's the build here. As you can see, good stats, good attack, which can cause an issue sometimes, not very often, but I'll get to it. Our witches remain applier as Shagrel. I tried Nimbus, similar results, although a little bit less damage done, mainly because Nimbus doesn't have an aura and Shagrel does. So we have an attack speed aura, which goes well with the idea behind the team. If you have Sufa, she will be the best pick here, being the Witches Remain applier, Emperor set again, and even the gloves here. Low crit rate, which really gives a little bit of RNG to the result. So there's a variance, you can get to like 95 or 100 million. Basically accuracy here. And now what basically makes this work is Vanya. Vanya is a tank, kind of. So we're using Roots on Vanya to give her 60% attack plus 30% attack here. So she is the highest attack member in the team. Vanya also buffs herself with 30% attack up every 9.4 seconds. So she is by far the highest attack up hero. And even when she's got attack down, most of the time the boss stays on Vanya. I mean, the boss's mark skill, which then transitions into the ultimate on the backline here. Now, however, the issue with Shelter and having too much attack on him is when he does the battle skill and Vanya has attack down, he can have higher attack value, making the boss marking him. So this is why Enlightenment chest in this case will be even better, but sadly I don't have it on the global server. But what makes Vanya able to survive the fight, and that's the question I've been asked constantly, as how does my Vanya survive with only Nathaniel and no attack down in this team? That's also worth mentioning. And the reason for that is because we use the Wolfspine gloves, which converts 20% of the damage dealt by the wearer to HP, basically healing him when his HP is below 50%. So that's quite good. This is enough to keep Vanya alive. Obviously, we put Nathaniel next to Vanya and give him the Puppeteer set, which grants 15% of the defense, which is at 3,600, to Vanya as well, to keep her alive. And I'm using the Gatekeeper stuff, although he doesn't heal. I'm using this for the extra haste to cast this ultimate every 18 seconds. Now, if you don't have Gatekeeper staff, you could opt out for the burner, which does very similar job, basically making the ultimate being cast more often. We have a dispel here from this battle skill, which is quite good, and this is basically the strategy. The team is able to survive. Farival is doing a lot of damage, and before I show you the fight, or at least a little bit of a fight, let's go over the timings because they're quite important as well. So Farival has a quite long animation, so it takes a while before he actually starts hitting with his ultimate. And this is why he's at 11 seconds, and again, a little bit later than he could. But we keep it at 11 seconds, and we follow with our 2 buffs. Basically, we have a buff from Shelter that will increase the damage of the team like tremendously. This is like very strong ultimate basically. And also Vanya's attack speed up 50% to all allies, and we also use Shagrol just after these buffs to apply the defense down. Okay, so we have defense down, we don't have attack penalty, but that's basically it. And then we have rotation, as I said, Nathaniel at 16 seconds for this defense up. You could even move it a little bit, but you know, it's safe to have it at 16 seconds and then 80 seconds because that's the rotation of the boss. And yeah, you'll see how good the lamp works on Farival again. I mean, if you haven't watched my video, just go and watch it. It's really cool and tells you the story. So as you can see, we're getting these buffs from Farival currently. We casted the ultimate. He didn't hit yet. He's just gonna start shooting now, as you can see. And we're getting the buff. We're getting the damage every time he shoots. Up to 10 stacks. That's a good damage boost there, because that's how his ultimate works. Each auto attack counts as an ultimate being cast. So the lamp works really well, and the team's damage is quite high. And as you can see, Vanya is getting marked. So we got extra healing from Nathaniel. We got protection, the shield here. And once we get down to the lower stacks, you will see how good those gloves are healing. So let me just quickly skip to that point in the fight. So despite even Vanya being definitely the highest attack hero in the team, the boss sometimes rotates towards Shelter, because as I said, when he casts his battle skill and she's got attack down, it will not work that well. But look at the healing done by Vanya. Basically, these gloves alone are keeping her alive. When she's low, as you can see, she will drop to 50% and she constantly heals, and she's barely surviving, but it's enough. So that's how you survive 5 minutes with Vanya as a tank next to Nathaniel. And yeah, this team is doing around 100 million damage. I can still max out the Psychic Core to boost the damage even further, which I'll probably do during this week. And the damage there also depends on how many times the boss is going to target the front line, and as long as there's no attack penalty there, the team will do good. As you can see here, 97 million. Last week I've done 99.6 million damage. So that's the team. I hope this will be useful to you. I mean, if you don't have Farival, there are also other options. You can even put Nimbus, but obviously damage will go down. And the inspiration on here basically gives also like an extra 5% damage to Farival. But yeah, this is the idea behind this team. And I think this boss is a really free-to-play friendly, as I mean, even if you don't have Farival, using Nimbus, even using Iola here and making Vanya damage dealer, it all works, and you can still do over 22 million damage easily. And when it comes to Otherworld exploration, I'll probably split this one team into 3 different teams, because Farival alone will do 22 million. I can do Shelter and Shagrol, and then do Vanya and Nimbus as well. So that will be like 3 teams doing over 22 million damage at least on the Otherworld exploration. So yeah, you definitely are not going to waste your resources building this kind of a team, compared to Thunderbolt, which is still can do a lot of damage here, but not as easy as the Dauntless team. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please click the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. As always, thank you for watching, stay safe, bye!